I'm going to show you how to create an abstract painting in the style of Wassily Kandinsky. If you're new, please support me by liking this video and subscribing to my channel, Rainbow Parrot Art. Kandinsky was born in Russia in 1866. He's known for creating some of the first Western examples of purely abstract painting. Abstract art doesn't attempt to replicate literal visual reality. Instead, it tries to capture the essence of a subject matter using shapes and colors and textures. Kandinsky had synesthesia, which means that two or more of your senses are linked together. So for Kandinsky, when he heard music, he saw color. And when he saw color, he heard music. This is probably why many of Kandinsky's paintings have musical titles. To get started, I recommend grabbing a large paper, a ruler, a pencil, a Sharpie, crayons, watercolor paint, a cup of water, a paintbrush, and several round lids. I suggest drawing your design in pencil first, then tracing over it with Sharpie. But I'm going to use Sharpie right now so you can see it better. I'm going to start by adding some curved lines to my paper. In this painting called Black Frame, you can see that Kandinsky added a shape that looks like a checkerboard. So I'm adding a checkerboard-like pattern to my painting. See how Kandinsky added a ladder shape to this painting titled Blue? So I'm adding a ladder to my painting too. I'm drawing a couple more swirls and a few random intersecting lines. Notice that there are a number of circles you can find in this painting called traverse line. So I'm going to use my lids to trace a few circles onto my picture. You can also freehand it if you want. Kandinsky used both geometric shapes and organic shapes in his paintings. When you look at this painting called Blue Segment, you can see that he uses a combination of geometric shapes like circles and triangles, but he also uses a variety of really imaginative organic shapes. So I'm adding some geometric shapes, and I'm also adding some unusual organic shapes to my painting. When you look at this painting called Improvisation 28, you can see how some of Kandinsky's black lines are thick and some of his black lines are thin. Notice how these black lines randomly intersect and cross over each other. So I'm going back over my drawing and using Sharpie marker to create a variety of thick black lines and thin black lines. See how I'm making this line really thick where it starts out, but then it gradually tapers off and gets thinner. Don't thicken all of your lines, just choose a few of them to thicken. In this painting called Composition 8, Kandinsky added a couple large triangle shapes to the background. So I'm going to use a ruler to add a large triangle shape to my background. Now that I've created my composition, I'm going to start adding color. For fun, you might try coloring in an area of your picture by blending two different crayon colors. You may also want to color in the smaller areas of your picture with crayon. You might try coloring with circles like this. You can layer two colors right on top of each other. It will create a really cool texture. I'm adding some red stripes inside this circle. I'm coloring in my checkerboard using alternating solid colors and alternating patterns of stripes and polka dots. Now I'm coloring in all the small shapes in my picture. It's time to add some watercolor paint. You can use the lid of your watercolor tray to mix colors. The more water you add to a color, the lighter your color will become. Be sure to water your color down because you want nice light colors in the background. I'm filling most of my background with a light lime green color, but you can use whatever color you want and you can use multiple colors. I'm adding some pink on the left. Now I'm going to grab some beautiful bright blue and paint right on top of the crayon where my triangle is. When you paint over crayon, it's called wax resist because the wax in the crayon resists the watercolor and pops out. See how you can still see the crayon underneath? I'm also going to take some green and paint right on top of my crayon marks inside this circle. I'm adding some watercolor paint on top of my checkerboard pattern. I'm adding some fuzzy blue shadow around part of the ring of this circle. I'm adding a fuzzy ring of purple around my green circle and a bold red ring of paint around this smaller circle. Just adding a few finishing touches, and now I'm finished. I hope you love how your painting turns out. If you enjoy this tutorial, be sure to check out the other amazing art tutorials and art lessons I have in this channel, Rainbow Parrot Art.